All right, so I'll just count down our tech guru in the back here into 3, 2, 1, and we're live. Good evening, or I guess good day, everybody. Welcome to today's Community Services Committee meeting. I'm Councillor Chris Thiessen. I'm joined today with committee colleagues Grant Berg, Wendy Bosch, and Mayor Clayton has calling in. We are here to start the meeting today, but first things first, we have an item to go in camera on, and I'll look for a motion to go in camera. Councillor Bosch.
I move to go in camera.
All right, thank you, Councillor Bosch. I'll call that question to order. All in favor?
Mayor Clayton votes in favor.
Thank you, Mayor Clayton. And that motion carries, and we will go into camera. Just getting back into the chamber here. And weathering the storm of our in-camera meeting to start this meeting today. Now today we have a few items on our agenda, and we'll get right into our delegations. Just a note for our delegations, we do have a couple delegations to speak to Fastball and Diamonds in our city. And we're just going to move those delegations into speaking to the report. So we'll have administration speak to the report, and then we'll have our delegation speak inside that time as well. But we do have another delegation that did tell us that they were coming in today. It is in your report package, and that would be Peace Library Systems. And I'd like to invite Miss Louisa Robinson to come up and present to committee today. Welcome, Miss Robinson.
Where do I connect to?
Oh, Miss Robinson does IT at Peace Library System for herself too. She's pretty good. There we go. She does. One of the best. Janet is awesome. All right, looks like we got all of our technology solved at our delegation table. And welcome, Miss Robinson.
Good morning. For my presentation, some of you have seen some of this before, and I do apologize, but I'd like to ram it home. Sorry. So Peace Library System. My name is Louisa Robinson. I'm the CEO for Peace Library System. We serve the northwestern part of Alberta, as you'll see on the map up there. Peace Library System is one of 7 systems in Alberta, and the boundaries are established by the province under the Libraries Act. Within our boundaries, there are 38 member municipalities and 1 Métis settlement who have decided to work together to offer library services. It's a very strong, cohesive 35, almost 36-year-old now regional partnership. The system is made up of a board of governors, of municipal appointees, and currently our representative is Mike O'Connor. So why do you need a library system? Grande Prairie Public Library and the surrounding county libraries offer local services to the citizens of the city and to the county. And membership in the library system allows libraries to offer even more services, and it connects those libraries to others across the region and across the province. It allows libraries to do much more together cooperatively than they can on their own. In a nutshell, Peace Library System basically helps your libraries in 4 key areas: to build library collections with up-to-date materials, with library technology, to get more resources for patrons, and with training and program support. One way to think of us is this, that Peace Library System provides the back-end services that libraries need, the technical services parts, so that the library itself can focus its time, its people, and its money, its resources, on serving directly the citizens of Grande Prairie. We also assist libraries in marketing, and we'll continue to run a yearly marketing campaign, and we're also working across the region to reach out to Indigenous communities. Library system fees are set out in the master agreement between member municipalities. Municipal fees of $6.37 per capita are pooled to offer regional library services. And in 2021, the City of Grande Prairie contributed $440,091 to regional library services. The library board contributes a further $2.75 per capita to building library collections, and the City of Grande Prairie Library Board contributed $189,992 to an ordering account through which the Grande Prairie public can order new materials. A small amount of that, $34,544, is diverted to regional e-resources that are shared by all the libraries across our system and the other 3 systems that we are in partnership with, called the TRACK Consortium. The revenue collected from City of Grande Prairie totals 15.8% of the total revenue for Peace Library System. The population of Grande Prairie is 38.9% of our service population, but circulation for patrons of the Grande Prairie Public Library accounts for 51% of all the physical items and 50% of all the digital items circulated through the Peace Library System. So, what did we accomplish with that money last year? Peace Library System was able to increase delivery capacity by contracting with an external cartage service to deliver to our most far-flung libraries, Grand Cache, Fox Creek, and High Level, so that we were able to reconfigure our local delivery to schedule to include the Claremont Book Lockers, which are an offshoot of the Grande Prairie Public, as well as to increase delivery days to some of our busier libraries. Grande Prairie currently gets a 5-day-a-week delivery schedule. We can't increase them any further than they are. We also coordinated with the province of Alberta and Axia to finally implement the Supernet upgrade that had been delayed from 2020. Nearly all libraries and the headquarter building were upgraded to the new Supernet 2.0, increasing internet speed and capacity for library staff and users. We spent $115,000 on e-resources to keep up with the demand for e-content during pandemic shutdowns. This demand has since leveled off and started decreasing back to pre-pandemic levels a little bit, but only slightly, while demand for physical resources remains consistent. As well, an agreement was reached with Parkland Regional Library System to combine overdrive collections with TRAC in order to increase the availability of e-resources to all patrons of all 5 systems, thereby increasing the number of e-resources at no additional cost to anybody. Through the Indigenous Populations Grant, PLS continued to work with member libraries to extend programs and services to several Indigenous communities. PLS contributed to community library outreach efforts during COVID lockdowns, including storytime kits, craft kits, mother and baby kits, and storytime reading when we were allowed to go in. As well, through the Indigenous Populations Grant, PLS was able to put on multiple virtual training sessions on anti-racism through 1111 Consulting and focusing on steps to reconciliation in relation to libraries and their relations with the Indigenous communities. PLS staff were able to offer webinar training on topics like ebook platforms, Library Aware, Niche Academy, and all of that was in place of in-person training because, again, COVID. PLS, in conjunction with Yellowhead System, Parkland System, and TAL, that's the Alberta Library, presented the Rural Library Conference, and was presented as the Stronger Together, as a conglomerate conference for all 4 of us. It was a virtual 2-day conference that had a huge uptake across the city, across the province, and even across the country. We hired a permanent cataloger who is fluent in French and can do original French cataloging, specifically for the resources of the French Language Resource Center that's housed in the Grande Prairie Public Library, as well as our Francophone libraries. All in all, I think 2021 was the first year of whatever the new normal is going to turn out to be. It served to show that libraries can continue to offer services even while during a pandemic, with populations who are stuck at home or distancing or masking, delivering services to the people in the ways that they needed at the moment. It's been a 2-year experiment in alternative service delivery, and I think it'll continue to impact how library services are delivered in the future. And if there are any questions, I'd be happy to try and answer.
Wow, that was really good. Sometimes I'm sitting there going, oh, I should have had to warn them that they only got 5 minutes, but well done, Ms. Robinson.
I'm a fast talker.
Yeah, no, I understand that, and I appreciate the work that you do, and I hope that with all the upgrades, your upgrade in a council representative has been working out well for you as also. So there you go. Hey, I'm looking at the guy right now. I'll just turn it over to council and committee to see if we have any questions for Ms. Robinson about Peace Library Systems. Councillor Bosch.
Good morning, Ms. Robinson. Thank you. I just have a question on your circle graph here. You have government, other municipal. Who is that? Who does that involve?
Well, we get a provincial operating grant through the province. We also get the Indigenous Populations Grant through the province. And the municipal is all the other municipalities that are involved in our agreement. There's 37 municipalities. Grande Prairie is only one of those. So the other 36 municipal memberships as well.
Okay. And I did have another question. Fundraising. What do you do for fundraising?
We don't. We're not a charitable organization. We're NGO. So we can't really fundraise.
Why does your graph say fundraising?
I think I've lost myself.
Just under revenue streams and what was presented in the report, Ms. Robinson.
Oh, that. I think that comes as a what's the word I'm trying to think of? It comes as a form letter.
Yes, and what I see represented in the pie chart is government, other municipal, government, provincial, government, City of Grande Prairie, and I believe that the other one's government, federal.
Give me 1 second to bring it up here. I closed my computer too early.
Trying to figure out dark gray, light gray, and black here on that little pie, but I don't think fundraising is included in the pie chart. Well, that's City of Grande Prairie funding.
Oh, yes. In in the Excel spreadsheet pie chart, we've only got 4 revenue streams.
Okay, so this graph is other than
Yeah.
what you actually do. Okay.
Yeah, it comes saying government, federal, fundraising, gifts in kind, sponsorship, other internally generated, and those are all zeros. But they're still represented on that pie chart as zeros.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bosch. No, got to ask questions in order to get answers. Councillor Berg.
Yeah, thank you, Chair Thiessen. Ms. Robinson, just for clarity, you'd mentioned the 440, and that's included. And then I also wrote down numbers of 189, 992, and 34,544. So would that put our total right around that 600,000 mark-ish? Or is it 440 and those pieces come out of it?
The City of Grande Prairie is the 440. The Grande Prairie Public Library Board, so those funds come from 2 separate pots in our books. Now, whether you fund that to the board so that they can pay it to us, I don't know. But that money, the 189,992, comes from the board. And I realize that the board is probably funded through the city, but it goes into 2 different operating pots for us. One is operating, and the board money goes directly into a purchasing account for Grande Prairie Public, so they use that money personally themselves. We're the flow through for it.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Mr. Berg. Mr. Councillor Berg, thank you. And I don't see any other questions online or in the gallery here, so I'd like to thank you for coming in today and presenting your report, Ms. Robinson. We appreciate all the work that Peace Library Systems does for our region, and we look forward to seeing you again.
And we appreciate your continued support. Thank you.
Thank you. Right, so moving right along, as stated earlier, we've moved the delegations into our discussion on the Fastball Diamonds. So we'll just jump right over to Director Arlen Miller for his service area report. Director Miller.
All right, good morning, and thanks, Chair Thiessen. So I'll start off with the Community Knowledge Campus and the Coca-Cola Center. So the Grande Prairie Minor Hockey is looking forward to hosting the Under 13 Tier 1 Provincial Tournament, which is on April 1st to the 3rd. And then also the Under 15 AAA Provincials is on April 7th to the 10th at the facility. With the user group update, the Piranha Swim Club accomplished historic results by finishing 3rd at the recent provincial championships. The head coach wished to extend a thank you to the city and to the city staff as well for their support and creativity during the pandemic so they could continue their training and obviously be successful. And then the Grande Prairie Swimming Fossils are running a virtual swim meet parallel to the Alberta Masters Provincials on April 1st to the 3rd. Switching to events and entertainment, Bennett Center. So as you've probably seen, we had the Rogers hometown hockey event this weekend. It was a great success. We drew over 6,000 hockey fans over the course of the festival this past weekend. The Monday night live broadcast party was hosted by Rod McLean and Tara Sloan. And in talking to Miss Nyland, she thought probably 2,500 attended last night as well. So that's good news. And so viewers across the country tuned in to hear all about our wonderful city and watch the Vancouver Canucks take on the St. Louis Blues. And with facilities, with the Eastlink Center, I shared the good news on the weekend that the hot water exchange unit arrived and was installed. So it was very good news, good for our users there. And I just wanted to extend a thank you as well to the facilities team for, I know it took a long time to arrive, but once it did arrive, it was a fairly smooth installation and they had the contractor all lined up so we could get the hot water turned on as quick as possible. And then with MCC, just to update there, the facility engineering review RFP has been awarded. And with the Grande Prairie Outdoor Pool, it's coming to that season, so the crew is busy planning for the dewinterizing and spring prep work as well. With Fleet, it's business as usual, but they have the sweepers ready to go. And they've been out and about in the community as well already with the transportation staff operating those. Sports development, wellness and culture, the grand opening of the Activity and Reception Center will take place on April 10th. And that's from 1 until 5 p.m. We'll share more news in the coming days on that. But we're anticipating the ribbon cutting will be shortly after 1 o'clock. And we'll extend invites to council as well, probably to some of our neighbors as well. And encouraging the public to stop by and see the new facility. And then with transit, the paratransit software implementation is scheduled for May with the on-demand component, and the transit redesign is scheduled for July to roll that out. And ridership has seen a 18.4% increase since the January 16th hike on the gas prices. So it's good to see people finding alternative ways of getting around the community and saving some dollars as well, and also saving the environment. Yes, and that's my report, Mr. Chair, unless there's any questions.
I really like how Director Miller pointed at me on that last statement, but thank you. Sounds like there's something awesome, lots of awesome going on in community services and from your director's report. I'll just look around to see if there's anyone that has a question. I do have Councillor Blackmore in the queue, so I guess we'll go to her first here online. Councillor Blackmore.
Hi, thank you, Chris. So Director Miller, I had a question. You said that the Fossil Swim Club is holding a virtual meet or going on. I don't really understand how a virtual meet works for them to join the Masters. So can you explain how that is organized?
Through the chair, thanks for the question. My understanding is that our group meets locally and they perform in the swim meet, and then the other groups perform at their own facility, and then it's shared virtually. That's my understanding.
So they'd be timed at our pool, and then the times would be submitted.
Yes, I believe so.
I guess. Okay, thank you. That's all I had.
All right, thank you very much, Councillor Blackmore. I'll look around for any other questions. I have Councillor O'Toole.
Yeah, Director Miller, I was just wondering if there was any, when we did the outdoor pool, there was problems with the adhesion of the tiles. I was just wondering if that has been resolved or if there's any damage over the winter.
Director Miller.
Thanks for the question. We did have a little bit of damage a couple of years ago. It was repaired. We had some additional damage last year. We bought some extra adhesive for the surfacing material. So I think probably the plan moving forward is every year we're going to have to touch it up and just resurface it, fill in the damaged areas. But as soon as possible, we'll be on top of that so that we can open. I think around the May long weekend is what we're anticipating.
Thank you very much for that update. I understand regular maintenance is required, and I guess we'll have to add that to the list. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for your question and for your mindfulness there, Councillor O'Toole. I'll look around. I see no more questions. I actually do have a question. It's also about the outdoor pool. So now this has sort of been brand new to our community, and over the COVID times, we've been doing a lot of pre-scheduled stuff. Is the plan to allow for drop-in at the outdoor pool, and are we working on just making that the norm now?
Thanks for the question. I believe that will be the plan, is to make that the norm. I know we're already trying to recruit lifeguards to make sure we have adequate staff for like a full opening of the outdoor pool.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Director Miller. And seeing no further questions online or in the gallery, I'll let you off the hook here, mister. And thank you very much for your report. We appreciate it. Moving right along to our next item on the agenda, I'm going to call forth on Ms. Karbuszewski to present, as it states here, item 4.2, City of Grande Prairie Library Board Bylaw Amendment C-1364A. And while she's making herself comfortable here, this is just something that was a direction from council to add a county member to our bylaws. And I'll let Ms. Karbuszewski present. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, committee. I'm here this morning because committee had at the March 15th committee meeting directed administration to bring forward amendments to the Grande Prairie Library Board bylaw, specifically to replace the appointment of a representative from the MD of Greenview with a representative from the County of Grande Prairie. So administration took this opportunity to have a fulsome look at the bylaw and has requested to bring some recommendations forward to update other provisions within it. Some of the suggestions, some of the considerations are for deleting several sections of our bylaw. And I just want to be clear that the deletion of these sections isn't to say that they have no value any longer for our board. It is simply because these provisions are already legislated under the Library Act of Alberta, and our bylaw doesn't require those provisions to be included within it. With that, the proposed amendments do support the direction of committee, and they also remove provisions that are explicitly the authority of the Library Board Act and regulations. And administration is requesting that committee recommend council give three readings to the amended bylaw. And with that, I'm open for questions.
Thank you very much, Ms. Garbaszewski. Seems pretty cut and dry and simple, but I got Councillor Bressie in the queue, and we'll see what's coming up.
Great, thank you. Just a really technical question. I don't know if I remember us doing bylaws where we delete entire sections before, just amendments where we delete subsections. Would all the numbering of sections below it move up so we don't have a weird gap in our sectioning, or do we need to address that in our bylaw amendment?
Thank you. Through the chair, the numbering will naturally, organically occur upon the amendment of the bylaw.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much for that question. If that's the only question, I would look for a motion. Councillor Berg.
Thank you, Chair Thiessen. I recommend committee recommend council to give 3 readings to bylaw C1364A, being an amendment to the City of Grande Prairie Library Board bylaw.
Thank you very much, Councillor Berg. That motion is in order. Sorry, Councillor Bressie's got me chuckling over here. Anyways, I'll call the motion to question. All in favor?
Mary Clayton votes. Mayor Clayton.
I think that was Mayorie Clayton votes in favor.
Councillor Bosch in favor.
And that motion carries. Thank you very much, Ms. Garbaszewski. We're moving right along to item 4.3, naming rights. We have a verbal update from Ms. Jade Nyland. Welcome, Ms. Nyland.
Thank you. I'm just here to provide an update on the Eastlink Center naming rights. So in 2012, the city entered into a 10-year agreement with Eastlink for the naming rights to the multiplex. With that contract expiring in 2022, the city engaged Eastlink in conversations late 2021 regarding exercising the naming rights renewal option from the 2012 contract. Working closely with Eastlink, Angela Redding, and City Legislative Services, we believe we've reached an agreement that all parties are happy with. Upon council approval, Eastlink will remain the naming partner of the multiplex for a 10-year term ending January 31st, 2023. The partnership investment has increased and is fair and on par with other Canadian municipalities. Administration is supportive of the partnership and believe the continued relationship with Eastlink is to the benefit of the facility, the community, and the city itself. Recommendation is that committee recommend council approve the renewal of the naming rights for the multiplex at 10 Knowledge Way to Bragg Communications Incorporated, operating as Eastlink with the terms and conditions described in the report.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Ms. Nyland. Looking around for questions, I have Councillor Bosch in the queue.
Thank you, Chair Thiessen. This is great. The continuity piece of it for our city works out well. People get accustomed to the name of where they're going, and with the changes all the time, I think it creates confusion. So it works out for the public and it works out for us. So I'd be happy to move this if there's no other questions.
I had no questions, but I don't see questions online or in the chamber. So if you'd like to make that motion.
I move committee recommend council approve the renewal of the naming rights for the multiplex located at 10 Knowledge Way to Bragg Communications Incorporated, operating as Eastlink.
Thank you very much, Councillor Bosch. I know that this continuity is a big thing, and you already talked to it. I think cost is a little bit of a thing too, because even though we get some sponsorship revenue for that, then we have to rebrand everything and change all of our advertising. So this actually spares us an expense as well. So I'd like to thank Jade and her team for working so hard with the Eastlink Center, or the Eastlink Group, in ensuring that the naming right stays consistent and going forward for another good chunk of time for our community. So that being said, motion's in order. I'll call the question. And it appears we do not have Mayor Clayton online at this time.
Councillor Bosch, how do you vote?
And that motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much, Ms. Nyland, for the report, and again for all your hard work and your team. Kudos all around. And moving right along to our last item on the agenda here, the potential impacts of dedicated fastball diamonds. And to that, we have Christine Chambeau and Katie Bieberdorf here to present. Welcome, ladies.
In January, the Pirates Fastball Group attended council requesting upgrades to diamonds, allowing for dedicated fastball opportunities for youth in the city. Administration was tasked with looking at impacts to slow pitch if converting diamonds to fastball, and the Pirates specifically requested Diamond 1 and 2 at South Bear Creek. These two diamonds were used primarily by slow pitch in 2019, which is outlined in the report, and approximate usage in 2022 is expected to be about 1,400 hours, with 1,000 of those being for slow pitch and 390 for fastball. With these hours and usage in mind, administration met with representatives from the Pirates and explored converting the Parkside diamonds into fastball diamonds for youth play. The diamonds at Parkside have been primarily used by youth programs since 2019, as adult play was resulting in baseballs going over fences and into property and on roadways, so prioritizing youth on these diamonds was a great fit. Upgrades to these diamonds will allow dedicated space for youth fastball, as well as the opportunity for sport tourism through tournaments. The Pirates were also referred to the Regional Recreation Committee, where they were provided with an overview and information on submitting project proposals for the committee for future large-scale projects in the region. I'll pass it over to Christine.
I'm just going to talk about a bit of maintenance that we've been doing. Last year, we replaced both infields and put brand new shale on both of them. This summer, we're going to be moving the fencing so that it's actually a fastball diamond. Right now it's about 60 or 80 feet too long, so we'll be doing that this summer. And then there's a few other items that we're hoping to request capital funding for, which are new dugouts, so that would be 4 dugouts for those 2 diamonds, and then bleachers, so that would be a bleacher set for each diamond. That's it.
And with that, administration is recommending that committee recommend council approve this report for information.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Bieberdorf and Ms. Chambeau. I'll turn it over to committee and council. Looks like I have Councillor Blackmore in the queue with the question, then Councillor Laners.
Thanks, Chris. My question is, so you're recommending the 2 conversions to youth fastball, but nothing to adult fastball. And I'm wondering if you looked at any other sites other than South Bear 1 and 2.
Ms. Bieberdorf.
Thank you for the question. No, we didn't consider any other diamonds at this time, just because the South Bear 1 and 2 are already the premier diamonds in the city for tournaments. They've got lights and full bleachers, and then Parkside's already being used for youth, so it was a great fit to put them there since the adults can't play on those diamonds.
Does that answer your question?
So,
go ahead, Ms. Blackmore.
Quite. So you didn't look at any other diamonds, and I'm thinking that maybe that was something that should have happened, even if it was a quick look. I feel that we're not meeting the Fastball Association's needs with this decision.
Thank you for that, Ms. Blackmore. I think, yeah, it's a good question. Like I know that Diamonds 1 and 2 were requested by the Fastball Club and Association. So, and administration did do that. But yeah, it is interesting to know what other diamonds may have been looked into. I have Councillor Laners and then Councillor Burke.
Yeah, just a clarification, because I think I maybe misheard. So you upgraded to infields, you said this last summer, but at Parkside we're only talking about the one diamond. Are we talking about the other diamond? We're talking, which ones did you upgrade? The ones at Parkside or South Bear Creek?
Through the chair, Parkside.
Parkside. So there's 2 diamonds at Parkside that we're going to be using, not just the one
Correct.
against Resources Road, but the St. Gerard's one, we'll call it, for lack of a better word. Oh, I see. So both of them are going to be Fastball diamonds now? Oh, okay. Good, thank you.
Thank you for that, Councillor Laners. Councillor Burke.
Thank you, Chair Thiessen. So my question, are there any other sites around the city that are active besides Parkside and South Bear Creek?
Through the chair, we do have other diamonds. There's one still at the Leisure Center. There's one fenced diamond there. There's other diamonds at schools as well. So Crystal Park has diamonds, CKC has a diamond, but most of those are just grass infields. They don't have fences, no other amenities.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I have Councillor Bosch.
Thank you, through the chair. You probably said this, but maybe you can reiterate, how will slow pitch be affected with this decision?
Ms. Bieberdorf.
Thank you for that question. There wouldn't be any impact to slow pitch with no changes currently being made, because the slow pitch is not playing on Parkside right now. With the balls going over the fences, we've relocated them to other facilities, so there's no opportunity for damage.
What about growth for them? Are they anticipating growth as well, though?
The Slow Pitch League is yes, and they are here today, and I believe they will speak to that when they present.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Bosch. I do have a question, then I'll get right to you, Councillor O'Connor. In regards to growth, that was actually one of my questions, but based off of what's been presented to council through our delegation form and through your report, it appears that Fastball is growing both in youth and adults, but probably larger in the youth category. Has administration looked into this and seeing the rate of growth and when we may need another dedicated Fastball diamond if this continues?
Thank you for that question. We did have all of the groups recently participate in our recreation and culture stakeholder sessions as well. So we're hoping that that information was captured through that. And with the addition of the 2 more diamonds at South Bear, we anticipate being able to move some slow pitch to those diamonds so that we're freeing up some space on the other 2 for Fastball.
Awesome. And then my second question is in regards to our regional recreation strategy and the diamonds in and around the city. I guess more specifically in the county. Are there any dedicated Fastball diamonds out in the county that you're aware of?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll move it over to Councillor O'Connor.
Thank you, Chair Thiessen. Question, I understand that diamond number 4, which is to the west, is totally out of commission. Is there an expectation that this will be brought back in and refurbished, or is it toast?
Ms. Bieberdorf.
Thank you. I'm going to have Director Glavin. Oh, sorry. Oh, Christine.
Through the chair. So yes, the plan is to get that diamond up and going. We just have a lot of fill material that needs to be put onto that diamond just because of the environmental concerns. So we're looking for that material right now, and it's quite a large amount. So that's kind of I guess maybe the issue right now.
Okay, and that's mainly for softball on that side, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, and is there a need to put lighting in to some of the other diamonds to increase the amount of usage, or is that too large a cost? Maybe that's to Director Glavin then. Sorry, through the chair.
No, it's all good. I believe Ms. Bieberdorf might be able to answer that.
Yes, thank you. I can sort of answer that question. We have explored options on the west side of the complex for lighting, but because of the environmental concerns on that side, we aren't able to dig as far into the ground as needed. I do believe Ms. Gardner's on the call too, just in case we have environmental questions, but as far as I understand, we're not able to put anything else in the ground on that side of the complex.
Okay.
That's interesting to know that Ms. Gardner's on the line. I think I'm aware of potential environmental issues, but I'm not sure if the rest of council may be. So I guess that could be my next question. What are our concerns, as far as digging into and creating new diamonds and the environmental concerns in South Bear Creek? And I'll look to Director Glavin or Ms. Gardner.
Sure, I'll take that question. So with respect to the new diamonds, when we put them out to tender, part of the tender package was ensuring that they met all environmental conditions for the construction of new diamonds, so that will be met as they're built this year. However, to Ms. Bieberdorf's point, there are some limitations of what we can do with respect to penetrating the cap of the former landfill and any of the potential gases that might be brought to surface if we do that.
Okay, thank you very much for that answer. That's actually what I knew. I wasn't sure everyone else knew. Councillor Laners.
So my understanding is Diamonds 1 and 2, we're planning on upgrading the lighting system there, right? So we will have those lights that are there that could potentially be, and I'm not, when I hear it can't be done, the engineering brain in me says nothing cannot be done. It's just a matter of how you want to do it or what to just different ways. Like, I'm not sure why we couldn't run it like they do the AGT towers or whatever, the TELUS towers where they use guide wires and a pad on the bottom, right? So you're not actually penetrating the ground. That might be one way of doing it. I know you've only got about a meter of cover there because I built the damn thing, so I kind of know, and I dug up a bunch of that stuff, so covered it up real quickly so I didn't bother anybody, but didn't want to break any rules. I'm not a rule breaker. I want that on the note. Can you write that in the minutes? I'm not a rule breaker. Anyway, so there are ways around it, and I think we should consider those, because it's a shame to see those lights. They were put in at a big cost, and they are reusable, I would think, but you've got to get power to them and a few other odds and ends. So you don't have a lot of cover, I know, but you got a little bit. So,
thank you for that, Councillor Laners. I have Director Glavin in the queue.
Thank you, Chair Thiessen. Just with respect to my former answer, that was with respect to installing any of the fencing. We didn't explore lighting on the new diamonds that are under construction. So it's just purely a fencing that we have in the tender.
Awesome. Councillor Laners? Yeah.
So what is the plan with the old lighting then that's going to be taken down? We're not reusing the poles because they're too short. We're not going to be reusing the lights because they're not bright enough. So you've got about 8 poles, I'll say, that are sitting out there. Are you planning on selling them? Are you planning on, is it worth us asking CLT to examine the possibility of moving them over to the other site? Because, then you're effectively getting another, 2 more diamonds of lights for slow pitch, or partially anyway. We're not trying to get provincial caliber lighting at those places. We're trying to get, I want to be able to play a little bit later lighting. And so I don't know what the cost would be to move those over if we have them already, and so maybe that's something we should consider. But this is not my committee, so I didn't have to get someone else to talk about that.
Well, that's all right. You got to get somebody else to make a motion for that, but you're more than welcome to ask any question you like as a member of council here today. And I'll look to Ms. Bieberdorf. Perhaps, do you know how to answer that question at this time? Are we repurposing and selling or replacing the poles and the lights?
Thank you for that question. I do not know the answer to that, and I don't believe Ms. Shamble does either.
Okay.
Sorry.
And it doesn't appear that Director Glavin does either. So perhaps maybe that is a motion going forward if somebody wants to make it. But Councillor Burke?
Yeah, I'd like to make that motion that the city explore repurposing the lights from South Bear Creek that are being decommissioned.
I think that's in order. That's how the motion was forming in my head. Not exactly, but very close to. So I'll look for any discussion or debate on that. It's not topical to the main motion, but it's topical to doing work. Seeing no discussion or debate, I'll call the question.
Okay. Mayor Clayton in favor.
Mayor Clayton in favor.
Councillor Bosch in favor.
And Mayor Clayton did say she was in favor as well. So we'll record that as a unanimous 4-0 vote. And thank you for that. Councillor Lainers, looks like things can happen when you're not part of a committee, as long as you're convincing or funny enough. But I know you have another question, so I'll give you the floor again.
I do, and you've kind of hit home with me. So we were talking about, we can't penetrate this and that with the piles. Now we're going to go over and build some new ones on diamonds number 1 and 2. Is the plan to reuse those foundations, or are we going to dig some new holes? Because that too is on an old landfill, and it could be a little stinky or bad or whatever worries here people when they're building the foundations. But maybe you can help me out with that. Are we reusing those foundations even though the poles are a little longer?
Shandell?
Through the chair, to be honest, I don't really have those answers. Like, this would be a project that would be a design build and would be going through an engineer. So I don't really have those answers for you.
Okay, just something to think about when you are scoping out those terms of reference for the.
Yeah, thank you for that valuable input. And John Lainers, our resident engineer on council. There we go. I see no further questions online or in the gallery, so I'd like to thank you, ladies, Ms. Chambol and Ms. Bieberdorf, for your presentation. We do have delegations to speak here, so I will call first upon anyone here who is to speak in favor of the recommendation, as in to receive this report for information. Yeah, come on down. Welcome, ladies. Just like any other delegation, you have about 5 minutes to present, and we look forward to what you have to say. And please introduce yourselves to committee, and so we can all get to know you a little better.
Thank you, Council. So my name is Rye, and I'm with the Grande Prairie Minor Pirates Fastball. This is Ashley. She's our executive director. So we just wanted to go on and update some information from our side of Pirates, because I presented at the end of November. The report was done as per request from council as a result of my presentation. So just to update a little bit more, we have, as of this morning, 192 registered people with Pirates Minor Fastball. We have executed a boys league, there is a ladies league, and there is a lot more tournaments that we are wanting to host here as Pirates Minor Fastball. I have the tentative agreement with the city for diamond usage. And this just goes to reiterate what happened in the RC meeting, that we need more facilities. We need better facilities, we need to upgrade facilities, and we need to be able to appease everybody who uses those facilities. South Bear 1, we're looking at 147 hours just on South Bear 1 till the middle of July, second week of July? Ashley's the one that does all the booking. She gives me the information, and I try to make things happen. South Bear 2, we're looking at 232 hours. So when Ms. Bieberdorf alluded to about 300 hours for South Bear Creek, those numbers have changed, and I think since that report was done. And then if there is usage for South Bear 3 needed, we're looking at about 76 hours. So altogether, South Bear 1 and 2, we're looking at almost 400 hours, and South Bear 3, we'll add it to almost 500 hours. And that's just till like the second week of July. We had alluded that we were expecting about 150 participants in our organization. We're at 192. We were discussing this morning that possibly closing registration early because we don't have facilities to put these kids on. We have tried, and we are doing the best that we can to help facilitate so that all user groups can use them within reason. Everyone's entitled to use city facilities, and I'm a member of the slow pitch community. I sit on another board for Kakwa Ladies Slow Pitch. They weren't overly impressed that I had asked for Kakwa Ladies to no longer be able to use Parkside because of the adjustments that are being made, and thank you for those adjustments too. Where did they go? Thank you. We appreciate it. And that we are very much looking forward to how things will grow within the city of Grande Prairie. You have anything to add, Ashley?
The South Bear 1 and 2 issue is I'm running out of room to put these kids. Parkside, we don't have enough room. It is booked solid. We have 14 teams this year. Last year we had 7. So the growth is exponential, and we still have till April 30th for registrations. And a lot of small children are joining our program because it's affordable. Our registration for U9 and under is $100. And so that makes it more appealing to families because baseball's registration is $400.
Plus raffle ticket sales that you have to do.
So we're trying to keep our program affordable for the kids, and so it's growing very quickly, especially now when people have had such a hard time through COVID. They can't afford to pay $400 for their kid to play ball. So our whole goal is to get kids outside and playing a sport. And then there's some girls, some of our older girls that have the potential to go to college and play fastball. So it's for the kids, and it's keeping them out of trouble. The boys program, there's 15 of them on one team now, and then there's 3 on a co-ed team. I have nowhere else to put them. So I expect our growth to double again next year because people keep telling people. And it's just, I don't know, it's exciting, but we need more space. And I understand there's diamonds at Dave Bar, but they're not safe to use. They're a gravel infield. The fences are too short. The fences are too deep for fastball. South Bear 1 and 2 were built for fastball. They are fastball diamonds. Their fences are shorter. I think it's like 260 feet-ish. 260, 280, somewhere in there. I can't remember. I haven't been there for a while.
In comparison, I read the report and it pulled numbers from 2019 as to what fastball used versus what slow pitch used. And absolutely, slow pitch monopolized that, as they should. We have the biggest NSA league north of the equator in Grande Prairie, Alberta. There is a lot of people who play ball. Now, fastball, the organization that we represent, didn't form in 2019. The 300-hour, or however many hours Katie alluded to in that report, was the seniors who have been in operation for, well, decades, and the Pirates, the men's organization. So Shane with the men's side is bringing another top-tier program or event coming to Grande Prairie in the middle of June. We want there to be respectable numbers for both sides, for both parties. We absolutely understand that there is going to be a negative impact if we monopolize Diamonds 1 and 2. We don't have any other options, and we would really hate to have to tell these kids that they can't play because we don't have room for them. We don't want to run a program like minor baseball where you have 3 teams on one field. They have, I think access to 12 fields. We have access to, in theory, 4, 2 specifically that are just fastball or will eventually just be fastball. And that will be a first for the province of Alberta as well.
Great. Thank you very much, ladies, for your presentation. I have a question from Councillor Blackmore online in the queue, and I'll look around if anyone else has questions for delegation. I see Councillor Bosch, so I'll give Councillor Blackmore the floor.
Thank you, Chris. I'm just trying to figure out in my mind if there's other places that could be more easily or could be relatively easily converted to meet your needs. You did mention the Dave Bar fields. And in your opinion, what would be required to bring those fields up to snuff for fastball?
So I do have a response for that. That, again, would be taking away more diamonds from the slow pitch community. So that includes Kakwa and mixed slow pitch. And there would have to be a lot more work done too. So not just changing fences, but bleachers and more amenities, probably ripping up the diamond itself, like the foundation, and digging down to get it into a clay base versus a shale or gravel base. Oh, and
okay.
Dugouts.
And to follow up on that question, is there space that you can use or are using that is outside of city limits?
Right now, we're facilitating winter clinics and pitching and catching clinics at the County Sportsplex. There is the opportunity for us to go to the county and ask them to build us facilities, but we thought we'd try with the city first.
So Councillor Thiessen, if I could just ask one further clarifying question.
You sure may.
So currently, if you went to the county, they would have to build you something, which is really what you're asking us to do as well. And is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
We have big dreams. And
we should have big dreams.
We have ideas of what we want to execute and do it in conjunction with the other user groups, not just for Fastball. We realize that there's more to recreational need in Grande Prairie and the city of Grande Prairie, as well as the municipalities that contribute to our organization within even just this room.
Okay, that's all I have, Chris. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Blackmore. I have Councillor Berg and then Councillor Laners.
Thank you, Chair Thiessen. So my question is more of you educating me, because it's been a couple of decades since I last played ball. Out in the county, can you tell me what is at Evergreen Park and what is at the Crosslink?
So at Evergreen Park, and as well as the County Sportsplex, those are baseball diamonds. There's 2 baseball diamonds out at the Sportsplex, and I believe 8 or 10 out at Evergreen. Those are baseball diamonds. You cannot use them for fastball, and you cannot use them for slow pitch.
Is there any more in the county besides those 2 that I'm not aware
There's
of?
2 more slow pitch diamonds at Crosslink. We have used them as a U15 and a U19 tournament setup that we just wanted the girls to play, and at that time our organization was specifically for females. We've since expanded. So it's a land use sort of concept, right? So when it's not, you don't just build a diamond overnight. You can't just chalk lines and throw on some bases into the ground and call it a ball diamond.
Okay. Thank you. Chair Thiessen, can I ask a question for administration? Thank you. For administration, when is the last time the city added new ball diamonds?
In 2016. And 2 more are coming in this summer as per budget.
Thank you.
Awesome. So I have Councillor Laners, Councillor Bosch, and I see Councillor Blackmore's hand up online. I'm not sure if she's got another question or if she just kept her hand up. But we'll go Councillor Laners, Councillor Bosch.
So my skills have probably decreased enough that I could probably, maybe you could squeeze me in on one of those little girls' fastball teams. I try not to embarrass myself too much, but question, so Claremont's still available? They still have diamonds out there that they use? And some Susan's over there nodding her head, so, we don't typically, I know we used to play men's fastball league out there. It's not the greatest because it's pretty, they're not, the infields aren't that.
Are you talking about the ones over by the school now?
Yeah.
Those are not in commission.
They're not anymore? They're not using them anymore?
Nope.
So anyway, so I guess where I'm getting at is that when we were in a bind like that, we took some initiative and we worked on diamonds that needed to be done, and and even played on even school diamonds that you could, with a little bit of upgrading, a little bit of work, community work, could probably make some of for they don't have to be perfect, but for to be quite frank, when you're 8 or 9 years old playing fastball, you don't need a professional league diamond to play on, right? You just need to learn and play, and most of them can't hit it out of the park anyway. So unless I was pitching, and you might want to consider I don't know if it's still around, but with some community upgrades, Crystal Creek, not there far away, had a fastball diamond forever and ever, and maybe with some equipment and consent of that group, they would open that up to turning that into a designated fastball diamond, because it's not used for anything else right now, right? So, and it's only 5 miles out of town, 4 miles out of town, and they've got a big, strong tradition of fastball in that area. So you might want to tap on their doors and see
Absolutely.
what they have. So,
and that's something we can look into, and that we will. Thank you.
Thanks for that suggestion, Councillor Laners. I'll turn it over to Councillor Bosch.
Thank you, Chair Thiessen. Actually, most of my comments were the same as Councillor Laners. I'd like to see that bit more work with the inclusion piece of fastball and perhaps slow pitch as far as practices. Of course, tournaments are very different, but I'm just curious, is there a way that you can multi-use these facilities that will work for both?
Sandlot posts their tentative schedule for their tournaments, like 2 months ago. So the provincials that I bid to host on are on different weekends. So we do try and work around them. And it's particular South Bear is where our travel teams, we have 2 travel teams that are competing in B division this year, like U13 and up need to practice. So right now our U19s are going to practice from 8:30 to, and these are 16, 17-year-old kids because I just don't have any other diamond space for them.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Councillor Bosch, and thank you for answering all those questions. I think there's been lots of really great suggestions, not just locally, but regionally as well, and it's always good to have many irons going in the fire at one time too. So I encourage you strongly to keep pushing for what that is. Just a quick question before we go home and see if there's anything else our other delegation has to say. But in a perfect world, how many fastball diamonds would the Fastball Association love to see and have access to, let's say, in the next 5 years?
If we have the same growth that we've seen, we will need 6 to 12.
6 more.
6 more.
So we had 40 girls our first year. We had 103 last year, and we're at 192 already. So if we still see this growth, not even 100% growth like we have seen, let's keep it 50 to 75%. We will need 6 more diamonds, and we'll have to grow from there. If Fastball comes back the way that it used to be active within our community, Grande Prairie used to be a hub for Fastball, and the Fastball group that helped fund or entirely funded, I don't have those specifics, back in the 90s and the early 2000s. Those were active for Fastball and filled with Fastball at that time.
And we also been asked to host men's nationals again next year. And then we are putting in to host Westerns for U16A. And so we have a really nice facility, and it would be really nice to utilize it for kids and adults from across the country to get to play.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your honesty there. I think it light bulbed Councillor Kevin O'Toole across the room, so you can't go home just yet. Councillor O'Toole.
So years ago, I used to go to the college diamonds and watch the big leagues, and people come in and the queen in his courts, and those. How much did that cause issues with your league?
With
those
college?
diamonds, with those closing?
The college diamond, we weren't in operation then. As minor Fastball, that would be something I believe to the following delegate to ask.
Okay, thank you.
I know when I played slow pitch, it sucked when we lost them.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for that question, Councillor O'Toole. I see nothing online and nothing in chambers here. So thank you very much for coming forward and speaking on behalf of the Fastball Association. I'm sure we'll see you again sometime soon. Now I'll look to anyone who is also willing to speak in favor of this or opposed. Okay, oh, wait. I'll do my process first. Anyone in favor? Asking the third time, anyone in favor? Seeing none. I'll now ask anyone who is opposed to the recommendation in the report to please come forward and present. Oh, looks like we have one. So welcome, just similar to our last delegation, presentation for 5 minutes, and yeah, please introduce yourselves to council and administration.
Hello, everyone. I am Suzanne Lambright. Most of you know me as Sue Lambright because that's my slow pitch alias. I've run or been involved with slow pitch, Grande Prairie. It used to be Labatt Mixed Slow Pitches, now Grande Prairie Slow Pitch League. For 30 years plus. Yeah, thanks for the plus part, John. Anyways, the league has been growing exponentially. We did take a responsible 2 years because of COVID and the massive amount of people. We have 3,000 players because of all the restrictions and guidelines. So we are back at it 100% this year. We are looking at 2019, we had 249 teams that we booked for. This year, we expect about the same. Hard to say. We do believe it's going to be at least 200 plus. Since the city has started and taken over the maintenance of the diamonds, which we do appreciate, and they are looking wonderful, and the facility has never looked better, we've lost diamonds. We have gained one, South Bear number 10, which is a beautiful diamond, but we lost South Bear number 4, so they kind of wash. But in that time, because of restrictions to the school diamonds, we've lost College 1, 4, and 5. We had 3 diamonds there we could use. We've lost Parkside 1 and 2, Montrose 1 and 2, Leisure Center 1 because they built a school on top of it, the Koch Center, which is, you were asking about viable sites for kid play. All you'd need to do is skin a diamond and put a fence at the end because our adults were using it without a fence at the end. It does have a backstop. And Crystal Park. We used to use that one. Again, it has a backstop. It does need the skinning on the infield, but we did use that for adult play until the school said we don't want adult play there anymore. We are getting Diamond 11 and 12 built, which totally excited about. To think there's going to be 12 diamonds at the park. When John and I took a walk up on that empty landfill many years ago, there was only 3. And the dream is starting to come alive. But we do need to finish the facility. In order to have the west side tournament friendly, we need to have some upgrades there. Lights, God love you, John. If you can figure out how to put lights on that other side, we will help you out 100%. The league has always been available for help, volunteers, cash. We didn't do it in 2019 because of the tenuous way that the world was going. But we have, up until 2019, charged each team $200 for facilities improvements, which generated roughly $40,000 a year. And we would put it into anything that would benefit our slow pitch players because it is slow pitch player money coming. So that was a criteria that we really needed to have in place. So when you talk about the Parkside Diamonds, fences being shortened, my heart does go out for Lady Slow Pitch because I don't know, and maybe Katie would know, what complaints came when the ladies slow pitch continued to use the Parkside Diamonds, because the complaint with our league was that the balls were going out of the park and hitting vehicles, and we absolutely understood that. Hitting people's houses and garage doors, but who buys a house on the left field line of a ball diamond? I don't know. Anyways, so my heart goes for them because they're going to be displaced again. The park that is there for kids, it was just tailor-made. So that I hope that might be taken into consideration. And I know that's already probably passed, but I don't think that devil's advocate stepped in for them. Anyway, so our plea to you is South Bear 1 and 2, we do use. The lights are, from what I understand, going to be upgraded, which is amazing because at this point, there's shadows on the field, and the lights themselves are not optimum. There's newer LED lighting that you can put in that is completely cost efficient, and the city will realize an extreme saving in electricity there. However, we usually put our teams on there that the percentage of balls hit out of the park is way lower. We call them our fun teams. They typically will play there because of the balls going out or into the other diamond and things like that. Because we've lost already 11 diamonds, which equates to 22 diamond times, which equates to, oh goodness, it was a lot. 11, 20, I did it on 2, because if we lose South Bear 1 and 2, it's 12 diamonds times 2 slots is 24 a day. And if in 1 week, that's 96 diamond times a week. And those other ones were already gone. We had to do really creative scheduling. We've built diamonds with the city. We've worked with the county sportplex. There's 2 up there. We've helped them out. We're in talks with them to build more. In a dream world, we'd have 24 diamonds that we could use. And we would fill every single one of them on every single night, except for the weekends for tournaments. We need to finish South Bear Creek. And in doing so, correct me if I'm wrong, we'd need to have a full pavilion with services. Because if you take those 1 and 2s, or 1 and 2 away, the pavilion becomes useless to someone hosting a large slow pitch tournament. Because you can't entice all those people from the west side over to the east side when you're only having Diamond 3 as part of that play. So you need a full pavilion. Playground, please. If you have money for a spare playground, send them up there. We could use them because the families, the young families, the grandma and grandpas that are bringing kids to the park and they're playing in shale piles. They're very creative. They're using their bikes and jumping off them and things like that and building hills. But they're going into the dugouts where it's not as safe. Parents are,
Yes. Sorry, Ms. Lambrecht. I right now, I'd like to, these are all great ideas, don't get me wrong, and I'm a big advocate for parks in South Bear Creek as well. But right now we're just talking about the diamond usage and
1 and 2.
1 and 2, and you know what, maybe even future use. So I think our 5 minutes is up, but if I'll give you like a minute to close, and then we'll get right to questions.
Absolutely. So don't restrict 1 and 2. And I would say Parkside 1 and 2 either, because until 11 and 12 is complete and Diamond 4 is complete, because then you have more room. There are little diamonds around the city that you could make into great junior facilities. That's short enough?
Wow, shorter than I thought. I was waiting.
Well, I could go on and on, but
yeah, no. I really appreciate.
Mike and Grant know my passion on this.
Well, and I think we have room for future discussions with council and in the community and with administration here too. I think we got room for questions. So still, I got Councillor Lainers in the queue, and then I'll see who else has a question. I have a question too.
Absolutely.
Here we go.
Love to answer.
Wow. I couldn't believe when I saw you there, you're coming up for a presentation. That was like a long time you involved in it. So
I've been here, you haven't.
Yeah. you're twice the woman I'll ever be. So
I appreciate that.
No problem. And I kind of, I tend to lean that way too. There are some junior diamonds in a pinch that, on schools that we can make work and try and get everybody to work together. And some of after the later slots, I'm sure we're not going to have the young kids in the late slots, and maybe we need to accommodate that for female slow pitch, or someone that's not going to hit it as hard, and all those other kinds of things. So I like your sense of compromise, and I do like that. So I'm supportive of that direction. I think that actually makes sense. Have you guys looked at Wembley and Dimsdale?
No, we have not. It's a little bit too far to go, and when you're, we're working with the county right now in expanding that, but it's a matter they have to acquire the land.
Yeah, so, I think Dimsdale has a ball diamond out there, and
I've gone out there, and it is too short. Like we're looking at 300.
Make a fastball diamond, then what you're saying?
You could.
Oh, okay.
And the other
wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
The other group really affected on this, and I talked to Gord Kono this morning, is senior slow pitch. They play Tuesdays and Thursdays on Diamond 1, 6:30 for the last 40 years. And that would displace them. And those individuals have grown this ball community and been contributors to our ball community, both fastball, everything. And that would definitely displace their hard work.
Thank you. Those are good comments. Yeah.
I forgot about them. He called me this morning.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Lainers. Looking around for other questions. I have Councillor Berg, and then I'll throw myself in the queue.
Thank you, Chair Thiessen. So you were How many diamonds did you say in a perfect world?
In a perfect world, they take as many as you can build. I was thinking 12 at South Bear Creek and 12 at the County Sportplex.
Okay, so a total of 24, and they're looking for 6, so 30 new diamonds. That's amazing. Like, I love the athleticism of the region and the activity. I'm just trying to visualize where we could even put some of these even in a short term. I know that, again, we've lost the college. There's a variety of schools around. I'm just kind of curious as to, you think they would all fit at South Bear?
No.
No, I didn't think so.
No,
I just
no,
on
no.
Google Earth, so.
The reason why we're not entertaining, we do play at Dave Bar, and Dave Bar does have space that you could put or build fastball diamonds. If the leftover space there right now is too short for slow pitch. The 2 diamonds that the city put together for us and put some fences up and skinned infill and things, those ones are long enough. We do put fun teams out there, though. We don't put our competitive guys because of the bounce on the ball, and it comes a lot harder. But out there used to be 5 diamonds out there. One was up against oh gosh, I'm dating myself. One was up against a hill, one had a path going through it, and then there was 2, and there was a smaller one way over at the far end of the school. The reason why the 2 at Dave Bar were revamped the way they are is to give more length in the diamond, more field. But that other area is grass, and they used to be diamonds. So you could potentially, I don't know what the distance from the backstop to the fence on fastball is for little guys, but you could probably put something developmentally wise there.
Okay, so Sue, back when, again, I was playing a couple decades ago, Dave Bar was popular. How many diamonds did there used to be there? How many are there now?
There's 5 and now there's 2, I believe. Just one's not fenced. We don't use the one that isn't fenced because it's short, right? And then there's 2 that we use.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for the question, Grant. I see you there, Councillor Bosch. I'll just get my question in the queue here right now. So you said there's overall, over time, we've lost 11 diamonds that were usable. Just to comment, I think there's lots of areas that we could look at. Even in the Riverstone area, we debated putting our rec facility there on the last council. There's plenty of field space over there and undeveloped land. I'm not sure if it's the perfect grade. I see our administration looking at each other over there. Maybe I'm totally wrong, or maybe that's in the plans. I'm not sure. My question for you is, though, in dedicating the Parkside Diamonds to fastball, I'm not sure if that's counted in the number of lost diamonds available to slow pitch. It is, so that's part of the 11.
We lost those, yeah.
Yeah. So are you able to meet the demands of slow pitch currently with your registrations and still run game times in the diamonds that you do have currently?
No. The reason being is because what we do is you pay for a night, and a lot of teams want to play 2 nights, and we put on our registration if available. Because Tuesday and Thursday night, everybody wants to play, and Wednesday, because of camping and things like that. So we make sure that all of the teams that want Tuesdays, Thursdays, Wednesdays can have 1 night at least on their first choice. And if they want another night, if there's no space available on the second night, then we give them a choice. Well, maybe you want to play on maybe Monday or Sunday. If you really want to play a second night, that's all that's available. So currently, we can't house them all. And some people just say, well, no, if we can't go Monday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Thursday, or whatever, we'll just do the 1 night. So currently, the last time we were operating, like in 2019, we didn't have enough room. And like they said, the kids' fastball was not there yet. And however, ladies' slow pitch only played Wednesdays. So there was open time Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. But the reason why we're not in residential areas is because they're adults. Some are hitting fences. Some are speaking not with the, well, colorful language, let's say, you know, and I agree and understand completely 150% on that. So we need facility that takes us into an arranged area. It's way better for tournaments because then if you have a fenced area, you can keep any consumption controlled in one area. We don't do tournaments out in the city at all because of that reason, right?
Okay, and I think there's only 3 of us left on council from back in the day when we put those screens up in Parkside to prevent cars getting damaged out there. But I think that would be Councilor O'Toole, Mayor Clayton, and myself when we dealt with that back in the day.
And even then, we only put fun teams on there.
Oh.
And if it went out of the park, it was an out.
Oh, I like that. That's,
yeah, and that's what Ladies Slow Pitch had done. And I'm not sure that there was any complaints over Ladies Slow Pitch being out there, honest to.
Yeah, no.
I just really don't think there was. But I wasn't on the other end of the phone either, so.
No. I do remember pretty clearly the delegation from the Parkside neighborhood. Councillor Bosch.
Thank you, Chair Thiessen. I'm really happy to hear that there is all this desire for more ball overall. I don't care which ball is fun, right? Absolutely. So maybe this is more of an administration question. Because I have not been in the back end of making diamonds like John, what is the cost to put a slow pitch or a fastball diamond in?
Through the chair, it would really depend on the location where you were going to do it. So it'd be difficult to give you a good answer right now on what the costs are. It's significantly more expensive to build them on top of a landfill with current regulations. So we'd have to report back with what the cost would be to do it on bare land without any of the environmental considerations.
Okay. Would it be easier? I would love to see information on that, but it like ballpark. Like
Good pun.
50,000, 350,000. I have no idea.
Through the chair, I would have to pull their costs from 2016, I think was the last one. But I don't have them. I'm not sure if Ms. Shamble would have them. So through Ms. Shamble, it sounds like it was around 300,000 at that time.
For fastball or for slow pitch?
I believe that was slow pitch.
Okay. Just to get some numbers in our heads, what we have to do in the future, you know? I know it can't come quick enough. I get that, but we're working on it.
Sometimes you can speed it up when you put sod in. Like if you put sod on the ground, it gets you on about the next year and a half instead of the 3 years for grass. We sped them up at the county sportplex. We helped them fund the sod out there because we were running out of space and we really, really, really wanted to play on them the next year. So they were able to put sod in, and we put, each team was able to go out there at least once through the year because we had donated the money to do that. And it did get us on the diamond considerably sooner. And so, yeah, you can speed things up a little bit sometimes.
Awesome. Thanks, Councillor Boss. Thanks for that. Sounds like we might have some community initiatives coming forward too. Awesome. I like working together with our community. Councillor Burke.
Thank you, Chair Thiessen. I just wanted to thank you both delegations for coming in and educating us. We've gotten a lot of detail and a lot to think about, but if it's okay with Chair Thiessen, I would like the committee to recommend council receive this report for information.
Okay, well, thank you very much. There are no further questions in the queue, so I would like to thank you both for coming in today as a delegation and speaking to us on behalf of Grande Prairie Softball. I know how popular it is here. I know how much hard work you guys have put in the community to ensure that it just continuously grows. So hopefully we can find a happy medium through this going forward and maybe create the spaces that people can create great memories in at a future date. Thank you.
Thank you.
So that motion is in order by Councillor Berg to receive this report for information. And I'll look for any discussion or debate that comes through that. Seeing none, I'll call the motion to question.
Mayor Clayton's in favor.
And that motion carries. And to all our delegations, I look forward to future conversations. We have a 4-year budget coming up here right away. So when Councillor Bosch is running numbers in her head, she's trying to figure out how she can crunch them into a 4-year plan. So that's good news for everybody, hopefully. And yeah, keep the pressure on us. And you know, I'm sure Katie and her team would love to build more diamonds all over the city. Cool. So thank you very much for that. That motion carries. And moving on to the next item of business is just our outstanding items list. And for that, I'll turn the tables over to Director Miller.
All right. Thanks, Chair Thiessen. Just a couple updates. Number 1190, the GP Library Board amendment, that was completed today, so it can be removed. Then also 1176, the ball diamond presentation by Ms. Bieberdorf, if we can remove that, please. And then just an update on the last one, 1169. We're anticipating by the end of May, we should have an efficiency review completed with the public library, which will help us with the needs assessment report. So if we could move that one, please, to June 21st as a reporting date.
That's in order, I'm sure, as long as someone's willing to move the outstanding items list as amended. Councillor Bosch.
Mayor Clayton's happy to move the outstanding items list as amended.
Ooh, she just turned her microphone on, Mayor Clayton. Thank you for that motion. As amended, it is in order. I'll call the question.
Mayor Clayton in favor.
And that motion carries with a 4-0 vote. And that would conclude our business here today at the Community Services Committee meeting. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, paying attention, asking the hard questions. And we'll just take a short break here while we switch over to our next committee. Thanks.
There is a request from Mayor Clayton to go in camera on a different item.
For the next one?
Okay,